I knew when I wanted to be a chef. When I was a kid, I always had a passion for food. I was surrounded by a family that was food oriented, where they wake you up early in the morning to go to the market. I was taught how to pick fresh produce, how to pick proteins at a young age. My dad was the big cook in the family, and I learned how to season things and how to work with fresh ingredients, and I guess that's what actually sparked it. His love for food then was a catalyst for mine, because the expression that he got off of his friends when he would make like a big family meal and everyone else would be like, oh, this is so good. I wanted to mimic that. I wanted to emulate what he was, even though it wasn't his profession and it was more a hobby. I knew that this is something that I can apply to my life in a career. My whole family's from Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad, Sangre Grande, that's where I used to live. And my dad was in Maracas, that's the valley. So it's more like, I would say it was out in the bush, if you want to call it. But it was like, the ingredients there and food was more intimate. It was a time where food was met at the table as a communal device to interact with your family, not like now where it's so disjointed. It's like disjointed, sorry. It's like everyone takes their food and just goes to the room, go to the living room, but my dad had this thing where everything was at the table. So that was in a sense of family for me. Yeah, my dad passed away a couple of years ago, and haven't seen him for a long time, and he was always interested in what I was doing. Like when I made that big switch from leaving college behind and pursuing my dream, he was always with it. He never judged me. He never said, hey, you need to finish this, because I guess deep down, he knew that this will be the path for me. So I just stuck to it and gave me little tidbits on how to season certain things. And he always told me to always stay true to yourself. And whatever you put on a plate reflects who you are as an individual and as a culture. On a little plate here, I have a stuffed chicken breast with Brussels sprouts and king oyster mushrooms. No, I did not go to culinary school. I did School of Hard Knocks, which meant a lot of staging. Staging is just a French term for free labor. It's like an intern where you prep the station for all the cooks, but you learn a lot of things during the prepping process. You do all the mise en place for the station, which means everything you need for the station. I worked one fine dining restaurant, it's 2-star Michelin. That's where my spark for food caught on fire. That place, they taught me how to plate, taught me the importance of great ingredients, where it comes from, how to deal with food, how to respect what food is. And I think that's something you can't really learn in school. Yeah, you'll know about the ingredients and this and that, but it gets real intimate once you're in the business. Because school is just knowledge that you are going to apply, but once you get out there and like, it's the way how the chefs work. A teacher will just tell you, 1 + 1 is 2. But these guys will say it, mean it, and they're in love with what food is. So didn't go to school, but I had some really, really passionate teachers. I regret not going to culinary school to a point. Because there are certain things that you need to know. Like there was a story that happened to me. I was working at a fine dining restaurant, and one of the chefs said they needed a 9-pan, a 6-pan, and a 3rd pan, and I didn't go to school. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just use common sense. So I went to the pantry and I grabbed all the wrong pans and I went back to the kitchen. And the chef looked at me and the whole crew looked at me and was like, bro, none of these pans are right. And I was like, oh damn. And I went back again because I was prideful. And I tried to figure it out and I bought some other pans, and at this time the whole kitchen was seriously laughing at me. I'm talking about dead laughing, and my face dropped. And then the chef pulled me aside and he was like, you didn't go to school for it? I said no. And then he was like, so why you didn't ask? I said, I thought I could figure it out, and that's when I realized pride is something you have to put aside. And then he taught me that basically you have a whole hotel pan. A 9-pan means 9 can fit in that hotel pan. A 6-pan means 6 can fit in that. And I mean, that was the most humbling experience. And that's when I realized school does have a part to play, but if you're humble enough, it'll work out. Obstacles. Most of my obstacles were religion-based. Not being able to work on Friday and Saturday. I had to make some sacrifices in terms of what I cooked and what I had to eat. Wasn't really, it didn't coincide with my religion, but I believe God put me in this spot, and I think He's understanding enough. Certain things I don't push, but religion is the biggest obstacle within this business. Right now, I am located at the top floor of the World Trade Center. I'm the sous chef there, so I help with day-to-day, measing, helping out the cooks, making sure recipes are followed, all stations are together. Going through the walk-ins, making sure I have proper rotation on most of my products, and coming up with specials and new menu items. It wasn't an easy journey at all. I had to overcome a lot of personal demons, and I really had to exercise my faith. I'm not perfect Christian, but God was able to work with me. He was able to push me in the right direction regardless if I didn't follow all His teachings. He was still there. Personally, I had to overcome a couple things. Pride, anger. I was just upset at the world because I was given a situation and I had to fight for it, literally. And I just thank God that I made it to that point. What kept me going was my personal drive. Food is something that I am completely in love with, infatuated with. Like, it's the woman of my life, if you want to put it like that. It's the thing that wakes me up in the morning when I'm tired. I think about it 24/7. I talk to my friends, and it's all food oriented. It has integrated into my life to the point that I've made huge sacrifices, whether it's relationships or friendships or just having a life, period. It's anyone who's in the kitchen is a crazy person, and I can relate to that. I feel at home in there, and it's like that hunger is something only another cook or a chef de nard or a sous chef executive, doesn't matter. it's that push to be better than the last plate. Next couple of years, I see myself probably moving up to exec sous. And after that, I want to stay within the company that I'm in. It's a huge company, and there's so much room to grow. Later on in life, probably when I hit like, let's say 45, 50, I probably want to open up a bar that more caters to the people within the business. Because we always get overlooked. Everyone gets that plate in front of them but don't see the hands that provide it. It's like an artist that gets no credit. You just eat and you have a cook back there that's slaving to get certain things done, and when his shift is done, it's like, I fed everyone. Where do I go now? And I want my spot to be more industry oriented, where I can cater more to like fellow cooks and chefs like that. The public is also welcome, but general public usually goes home around, let's say 10. We get out at 11, 12, 1, 2 in the morning, and then we have to figure out where to go. So I think that's what I want to do later on. Advice I would give to someone who's trying to follow their dream is make sure that's exactly what you want. And then you dedicate yourself to just that. I'm talking about body, mind, soul, everything. You immerse yourself in a world where it's just you and your goals. And you're going to have to make big sacrifices, and you need to be ready for that. And when you get kicked in the face, you need to get back up and do it all over again. Even if you fail, you scrap your plan and you start it all over, because that's what I did. I came into my first kitchen with a catering company, and then I was basically a prep cook. Well, started a dishwasher, then a prep cook. From a prep cook, I moved to a line cook. From a line cook, I moved to a tournard, and from a tournard, I moved to a sous, and from a sous, I moved to a head. And then you're gonna realize when you reach your goal, and say if you switch jobs, it's okay to take a step back to a lower position. It sounds crazy, but that's what I did to my new job. I was a head chef, and then I had to go back 2 steps down to a tournard. And when I was on that interview, the guy was like, "You're a head chef now, why do you want to go to a tournard?" A chef tournard, which is basically someone who knows all the stations. I was like, it's simple. I'm not going to come into a new kitchen making it feel like, oh, I know everything. I want to start back at the bottom. And to be fair, your talent will show, and your talent and your drive will bring you back up to the spot that you're at, and that's exactly what happened to me. Yeah, I was a chef tournard for less than half a year, but guess what? I moved up to a sous position. So it's all a climbing process, and within that ladder, you're going to make a couple steps down to readjust your mindset, to look up at your goal, but you always have to keep moving forward. So don't let any obstacle, whether it's education or money, because one thing this world can't take from you is your own personal drive. That's solely based on you and nobody else. Financially, money comes and goes. That will always come and always leave. But your mindset, your frame of mind, it's like, that's your target, you need to hunker down and just go for it. That's my advice I'll give to someone. Yeah, my lowest point in this will be when I first started. I left school, didn't finish my degree, and literally hopped right into this business. There was no schooling, nothing, just boom, I'm in it. Cooking with people. Oh yeah, I was a home cook, and I thought I was fast, and I thought I was this, and then I realized I was the slowest person in the bunch, and I was cutting my fingers off every day. And my lowest point hit when one time it was like, yo, this is it. And I curled up in the office, and I cried like a little girl. Like I literally cried. And my aunt was my boss at the time, and she was the one who put me in this business. And I called her and I said I couldn't do this anymore. I want to go back to school and finish. And she just told me she was like, baby, just stay right there and I will be over and we'll have a talk. And she came in the office and I was on the ground and I was all teary-eyed, and she just looked at me and she said, this is something that you always wanted. No one pushed you, no one put you here. You're the only one who put yourself in this situation. You're the only one who gets you out of this situation. So you're going to get up, she said a couple cuss words and told me man up and go back in the kitchen. And when I got back in there, it was surreal. For me, it was like, ain't nobody told me to be here. I'm the one who put myself here. I'm the one who set this goal. So what I'm going to do about it? Am I going to like bitch about it? And like be like, hey, this is not for me, I'm not gonna do that. No, I chose it. And it was my last option. That's what I made it seem like. There was no other avenues, nothing. This was it. Point A, point B, there's no going around it. Straight line, it's gonna be rough. No going around obstacles, mountains, nothing. We go through everything. Until I get to that point. And yeah, my aunt played a big role in that. Honestly speaking, for me getting over that hump. And she instilled that chef mentality from young. Even though I was a nephew, she treated me horrible. But she did it on purpose. Because I guess she saw the potential and where I could be. And she gave me a huge push. So I'll always be grateful for that.